Undercover FBI agent teaches cocky cop a lesson. He'll never forget a rude cop harasses a quiet man at a superstore, thinking he's just another suspicious shopper. But when that man flashes his badge, the whole store goes silent. You won't believe what happens next. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a story like this one. It was a sunny afternoon in Dallas, Texas. Families were out shopping, kids laughing, carts rolling, and weekend deals flashing across big signs. Inside the local superstore, it was just another busy day. Shelves were stocked, music played softly in the background, and the smell of fresh popcorn from the front kiosk filled the air. Among the shoppers walked Marcus Ray, a tall man in his mid-40s, dressed in jeans, sneakers, and a plain gray hoodie. He blended right in. He looked like any regular shopper, but Marcus was anything but regular. As he strolled down the electronics aisle, Marcus picked up a boxed hard drive and checked the specs. His eyes moved sharply, alert. He wasn't here for a lazy shopping trip. This was an unofficial assignment. Marcus was an undercover FBI agent, currently off duty but always watching. He'd received a tip about illegal card skimming devices possibly being planted on store machines. Nothing official yet, but something felt off about this store. Marcus pulled out his phone, made a few notes, and glanced at the checkout counters. Then came the problem. A security guard near the entrance had been watching Marcus for a while. His name was Officer Paul Simmons, an off-duty local police officer working weekend security at the store. Paul didn't like how Marcus moved. He didn't like how Marcus kept looking at things, but not buying anything. And most of all, he didn't like how Marcus looked. Paul adjusted his belt, walked up to another worker and whispered, "That guy in gray hoodie looks sketchy. Watch him. He's probably up to something." The cashier nodded nervously. Minutes later, Marcus walked toward the self-checkout with nothing in hand. He'd seen what he needed and was heading out. That's when Officer Simmons stepped in. "Hey sir, stop right there," Simmons barked, loud enough for nearby shoppers to look up. Marcus froze. "Is there a problem?" Simmons walked straight up, hand near his belt. "You've been loitering, checking electronics, and now you're leaving without buying anything. Mind telling me what you were doing?" Marcus raised an eyebrow. "I didn't know browsing was a crime." That answer didn't sit well with Simmons. Officer Simmons crossed his arms. "You've been casing the place for the past 20 minutes, acting weird, walking up and down, making notes on your phone? You planning to steal something?" Marcus remained calm. "I think you're overstepping." "Don't get smart with me," Simmons snapped. "Let me see your ID." Marcus gave him a firm stare. "Do you have probable cause?" By now, a few shoppers had paused nearby. The situation was escalating. Marcus didn't want to flash his badge yet. He preferred not to reveal his identity unless absolutely necessary. Simmons grew louder. "You want to go downtown, huh? Hands out of your pockets? Turn around." "Are you arresting me?" Marcus asked, his voice calm but intense. "You're acting suspicious and refusing to cooperate." Marcus sighed. He knew this wouldn't end peacefully unless he took control. But Simmons was clearly enjoying the power trip. A manager approached, looking concerned. "Officer, is everything okay?" Simmons waved him off. "Stay out of it. This guy's trouble." That's when Marcus reached slowly into his pocket and pulled out a black leather wallet. He flipped it open and held it up. The gold badge inside gleamed under the fluorescent lights. "FBI Special Agent Marcus Ray." Simmons blinked. "What the?" Marcus spoke in a low but firm voice. "I didn't want to do this. I was observing something potentially criminal. I'm here on an informal federal lead." "You just harassed a federal agent." A gasp rippled through the bystanders. The store manager's eyes widened. "Oh my God, we're so sorry, Agent Ray." Simmons stammered. I didn't." "No, he didn't." Looked like Marcus turned sharply. "Didn't look like what?" Simmons went silent. Marcus turned his full attention to Simmons. "You made an assumption based on how I looked, not my actions. You targeted me. You humiliated me in public, and you interfered with a quiet federal investigation." Simmons's face turned red. "I was just doing my job." "No," Marcus cut in. "You were profiling. You judged me before asking questions. You wanted power, not safety." The store manager jumped in. "Agent Ray, please accept our apologies. We had no idea." "I'm not blaming the store," Marcus replied, "but this man needs accountability." Shoppers began murmuring. Some even took out their phones and started recording. Marcus turned back to Simmons. "I suggest you call your superior, because if this escalates, you'll be dealing with the bureau." Simmons, now visibly shaken, took a step back and radioed his precinct. Dispatch, we have a situation. Might need a supervisor on site." In 10 minutes, a police sergeant named Captain Helena Briggs arrived. A seasoned woman in her 50s, she immediately recognized Marcus. "Agent Ray, I thought you were out of state." "Got called back early," Marcus replied. "And now I've been publicly profiled by your officer." Briggs sighed and turned to Simmons. "What happened?" As Simmons tried to explain, she cut him off. "No, don't justify. I know Agent Ray. He served this country in 3 different states. You owe him an apology. Now." Simmons stuttered but said it. I'm sorry, sir." Marcus didn't smile. You'll be more sorry when my report hits your desk. News spread quickly across the department. A police officer had harassed an undercover FBI agent, one with a strong record and respected background. Internal affairs took over. Simmons was suspended pending investigation. The store, embarrassed by the scene, sent a formal apology to Marcus and offered to cooperate with any federal case he was working on, but Marcus wasn't done. He used the incident as a teaching moment. The following week, Marcus was invited to speak at a law enforcement seminar. His topic, bias in policing when assumptions replace evidence. He stood before a room full of officers, including Captain Briggs, and even a humbled Simmons sitting in the back row. Marcus shared the whole story, not to shame but to educate. This isn't about hurting careers, it's about saving them, he said. Because next time, it might not be an FBI agent. It might be a teenager, a father, a kid just shopping for headphones. And next time, someone might not walk away. Applause echoed across the room. Simmons approached Marcus afterward. I deserve what's coming, but I appreciate what you said. Marcus nodded. Change starts with accountability. Marcus never wanted the spotlight. He didn't post about the incident. He didn't chase fame or praise, but the story still reached social media. A few bystanders posted clips, and soon the headlines ran. Cop harasses shopper, didn't know he was FBI. The comments were a mix of outrage and respect. This is why we need more like Marcus. Profiled for how he looked, even with a badge in his pocket. Respect to Agent Ray for staying calm. Marcus returned to his duties. The card skimming issue he was investigating turned out real. He quietly handed evidence to his team, and arrests were made weeks later. For him, that was the real win. But the event stayed with him. It reminded him that even those who serve must sometimes fight to be seen as equals. His calm, his training, and his dignity turned a humiliating moment into a life lesson for many. And somewhere in that same superstore, shoppers walked with a little more awareness. Officers patrolled with a little more caution. And Marcus, he kept watching, not for trouble, but for change.